Welcome to a positively beautiful new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. Spring is here, and that means the flowers are blooming and love is in the air. So grab yourself a tall glass of water and practice some safe self-love, because today, we're talking about Narcissus. Narcissus is a commonly known figure in Greek mythology who was the child of the river god Cephissus and the nymph Liriope. In some versions of the story, he had a twin sister who looked exactly like him, and the two fell in love, but she eventually died and, as far as I know, has no name. Narcissus was renowned for his incredible beauty. Practically everybody, man, woman, and all those in between, wanted to get in on this femboy bone-zoning action. However, Narcissus loved no one as much as himself, or again, in some cases, his dead twin sister, so he ended up spurning countless potential suitors. One day, while out hunting, he rejected the nymph Echo by telling her, "May I die before I let you enjoy my body." Echo prayed to Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, that Narcissus may too suffer the pain of an unrequited love, and Nemesis provided. Narcissus one day caught a glimpse of his own reflection in a spring and refused to ever leave its side. Some versions of the tale claim he merely died from refusing to leave the spring and wasted away due to starvation, while others claim he drowned while trying to make out with himself. Regardless of the version of the story, they all generally end with the growth of beautiful flowers where his body once sat by that spring, and we call those the Narcissus flower. Or, in case you didn't know its much more common name, daffodils. With many elements of the story focusing on the young man's love for himself, it makes sense that the name Narcissus went on to inspire more commonly used words in today's language for an overinflated ego, like narcissism and narcissist. Narcissus' compendium entry from Shin Megami Tensei 5 refers to him as a young man of Greek lore. He rejected the nymph Echo, who faded to a whisper out of despair. Cursed by Nemesis, he fell in love with his own reflection and wasted away, becoming the flower that now bears his name. Design-wise, Narcissus is displayed as a beautiful-looking man. If Kaneko had a particular inspiration for this design, I admittedly don't know who it was, but it's a naked man with long blonde hair that I think is believable enough to say that both men and women would fawn over. The most notable part of the design is naturally the Narcissus flowers growing from the top of his head and down in the grass by his feet. Given the white petals and long yellow cups, these are most likely either jonquilla or trumpet daffodils. Many other varieties exist with different size cups or different colored petals, so those two do seem the most likely. One minor interesting note with Narcissus' design is a small discrepancy between the Kaneko art and his 3D models. Most notably that Kaneko drew Narcissus with some rather noticeable butt cleavage on display. But in all 3D depictions of the demon, the red scarf completely covers up his derriere, and I think that is unacceptable. As far as game history goes, there's actually quite a bit to discuss when it comes to Narcissus. I doubt he minds though, since we are focusing on his favorite subject. Narcissus first appeared in Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, which also marked the first appearance of the Narcissus flower accessory, which was an item that made it easier to negotiate with female demons. In Persona 3, fusing Narcissus possibly allowed him to produce the Narcissus flower, which prevents the wearer from being charmed. Narcissus was also one of the personas needed to cast the fusion spell, Frolic, which heals the party at the risk that they may become charmed. Like with other fusion spells in the game, casting Frolic is one of Elizabeth's requests, where she says that she will need Pixie and a persona with a flower on its head. After players successfully cast Frolic, Elizabeth comments on how many women swoon to Narcissus' beauty and wonders if she too will succumb to it. In most Persona games, Narcissus is a member of the Lover's Arcana, and while he was absent from the original game, he does appear as a member of the Aeon Arcana in Persona 4 Golden. Narcissus is back to the Lover's Arcana in Persona 5, where his shadow self is known as the Self-Infatuated Star. An interesting side effect of battling Narcissus that stays true to his mythology is that he will occasionally waste turns being distracted by his own beauty. In the original Persona 5, sending Narcissus to the electric chair gives Ren the Daffodils item, which prevents the despair status. In the original Japanese text, this item is still referred to as the Narcissus flower. However, for some reason in Persona 5 Royal, Narcissus will create the Dazzler skill card or the Nocturnal Flash card during an alarm. While Narcissus does not directly appear as a demon, the flower shows up in Digital Devil Saga 2, where plants are a collectible item that can be sold to earn a lot of money. The item description refers to the Narcissus as a small white flower. Narcissus appears in Shin Megami Tensei 5 and has a small role in the subquest, The Root of the Problem. In the fairy village, Silky asks the Nahobino to go collect 8 mandrake roots, but warns him of other, more powerful demons collecting the same roots. As Nahobino fights mandrakes, more and more Narcissus will appear in these battles and must be taken down. And I'm really glad I got to talk about this, because by the time SMT5 had come out, I had already done videos on both Silky and Mandrake. And so, there you have it, Narcissus, the flowery femboy fawning for his reflection in the far-off forests. Did I leave out something that you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I will see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.